young people today are what we prayed for, you know, that our children would grow. It's like the enslaved Africans. In New York, there's the African burial ground. It is now Wall Street, the place where, you know, the financial center of the planet. But at that time, it was the outskirts of town. And it was the only place where Africans were allowed to be buried, you see. So when they were making a new development in this area, Allah manifest these bones to manifest themselves. And lo and behold, there's the African, a 17th century African burial ground. And we have scholars, you know, with credible scholarship that say upwards of 35% of the Africans who were enslaved and brought here came from Muslim Africa. So Islam resonates with us. You know, it's like this genetic recall. And when we go there to this African burial ground, they have celebrations about this. We imagine that our ancestors must have prayed, you know, that our children, makes me, that our children would grow and somehow find a way to know Islam, that which had been taken away from them. And they still manage to find ways to keep it, to maintain it underground, you see. So that's my prayer for our children, that they are smart now, they are fearless, many of them. I mean, kids in the streets, I own them, I claim them all, because they are our foot soldiers, you know. And they just want to know that there's real, genuine love and caring for them, and then they respond to that. So what we need now is that our children need to be introduced to history, not just our children, but I think the Muslim community in particular needs to do some research. We have to know the history of our country in order to know what that history has been and how do we navigate the course for progress so that we don't make the same mistakes, that we don't fall into the same traps. And I find that often because of the opportunities and actually the media onslaught, our children are now tied into media, all kinds of media. Reading is probably now a very big challenge for young people. So how do you introduce alternative education to them? During my time, it was a given. You know, we would have what Omar Abdul Farouk talked about at one of the sessions, parlor talks. Well, our houses were parlors where we would gather and discuss issues of the day that needed to be discussed to educate ourselves, our children, our neighbors about issues of the day, because they were not going to get that education in the public school setting. So we need to make sure that we create those alternative learning environments for ourselves and for our children so that they understand that when somebody says to you, go home, you know, you are clear that this is home, you know, and you don't have to rethink, do I belong here, or what is my identity, or how should I respond, you know. You're fully vested in being an American citizen. You don't have to question that, and then you throw the question back to people who are posing such ignorant, bigoted questions to you. But there has to be this mechanism, this willingness, in fact, on the part of people, new generations, to be willing to learn about the history of other people, other oppressed people, and how they've managed to negotiate those issues in their lives that continue to make this democratic project work. You know, it's not done. It's still a work in progress. But when we know about the struggles of other people and how they've engaged that, we also learn how we can not have to reinvent the wheel, but we join other people who have been in struggle and how they overcome those struggles, right? In legal forms, of course, yeah. But at the same time, we have to understand that at one time slavery was legal. You had to break the law if you wanted to be free. Yeah? So some laws are unjust. Yeah? So you have to find ways to address the the injustice that's embedded in the law. And I think that this is going to be your challenge, you know. And I think the elders who are knowledgeable have a responsibility to mentor, but to be willing to pass on the baton. First, we have to prepare young people for the challenge that they have ahead because it's not an easy road. It's not like Sesame Street, yeah? So we have to make sure that we are prepared to enter into the struggle of engagement, constructive engagement, yeah? And we all know that you're all brilliant, you see, so it's just, you just claim your space, you know, in history, and we'll be there cheering for you.